The highest scoring defender in FPL, more league goals than Richarlison and Kulusevski combined, William Saliba is settling in pretty nicely at Arsenal. So let's find out today how he's been shining for France, and more importantly, if Arsenal have agreed a new contract. Also, are the Gunners looking to sign a midfielder from Frankfurt? What update do we have on the Arsenal injuries? And what's the latest from Fabrizio Romano? Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Babs14 and welcome back to your boy's channel. The voting for the Football Content Awards is still ongoing, so if you want to win your boy a piece of silverware, all the details of how to vote for your boy are down below in the description. Apart from that, make sure to smash a like and subscribe if you are new. Only 1,000 away from 120k. But let's start off with the latest Arsenal news. The Arsenal players are on their international duties, and some of them thriving straight away, with Kieran Tierney playing a full 85 minutes for Scotland against Ukraine, amassing 71 touches, 41 passes, 1 clearance, 1 ground ball 1, 2 interceptions, 1 foul 1 shot on target, 2 successful crosses and 1 clean sheet. Whisper it very quietly, but it looks like Kieran Tierney is slowly returning to his best form, and it's very important to see that because Kieran Tierney for a while looked a bit lost. The lack of consistent minutes via injuries made Arsenal fans question. I still believe he has a few gears to go up, but what we are seeing here is a left back so solid defensively first and foremost, but more importantly going forwards, we are seeing a Kieran Tierney more and more confident, and that's the key part there, because to compete with Zinchenko, who is elite on the ball, Kieran Tierney is going to have to go up levels and show Mikel Arteta that he's able to deputise as an inverted left back, which requires elite ball security, and that's where Tierney has to improve the most. But he's a player with a lot of character, and when you question it, with the right level of competition, we are going to see an even better Kieran Tierney. According to Charles Watts, Martin Odegaard should be available to face Tottenham on October the 1st, providing he doesn't do any further damage during the international break with Norway. Arsenal are hopeful that Alexander Zinchenko with a calf injury could also be back to face Tottenham. Odegaard will speak on a second, but more focusing on Zinchenko. If he is able to return against Tottenham Hotspur, with Tierney starting the last game and picking up form, up against a Spurs team that is fantastic going forwards, question gets put forward to Mikel Arteta. What exactly are you gonna do? Does he go with the ball security of Zinchenko, or does he go for the better defensive player in Kieran Tierney? But in terms of Martin Odegaard, here is a photo of him joining up with the Norway squad, and him versus Vieira is just as interesting as Zinchenko versus Tierney. Fabio Vieira scored a thunderbolt against Brentford, and even though it wasn't a masterclass, you could definitely see his devastating qualities in the final third. But with Martin Odegaard being the Arsenal captain, if he is available, one can only imagine that Mikel Arteta is going to start him. Moving on to Thomas Partey. According to reports, the Arsenal medical department have been in touch with the Ghana FA on the best way to keep midfielder Thomas Partey in shape and reduce his chances of injury while on international duties. With Arsenal's lacking of another top defensive midfielder and the clear drop off to Albert Sambi Lokonga, there is an argument to be made here that Thomas Partey might be Arsenal's most important player. We have a lot of important games after the international break. Spurs at home, Liverpool at home, Leeds away. For Arsenal to maximise their chances of winning those games, they are going to need Thomas Partey. But keeping it on the injury news, Charles Watts says that Emil Smith-Rowe is a doubt for the Arsenal's match against Tottenham, but Cedric Soares and Reece Nelson are expected to be available. Early suggestions are that Mohamed El-Neni might not be available until January at the earliest. Now in terms of Emil Smith-Rowe, it is a bit interesting, as according to The Athletic, he is not suffering with any muscular injury, but is experiencing pain in his groin related to growth. Although there is no time frame on his return, the club and those around the player do not believe this situation will lead to a long-term absence. The reason why this is so intriguing is because Smith-Rowe has a history of experiencing pain in a similar area. In fact, if you go back to his loan spell at RB Leipzig, Smith-Rowe missed a lot of games because of similar pain in his groin. The fact that he's suffering from the same sort of pain almost 3 years onwards, it is low-key concerning, and for Arsenal we've got a player here that if he's fit and he's available and he's starting and in form, he can be a game changer. And in terms of putting the ball into the back of the net, there was no Arsenal player to score more non-penalty goals in the Premier League last season. But as things stand, it's all about how Arsenal find a way to manage him through this pain. But talking about injuries, what about William Saliba? Well, Mikel Arteta said that he hadn't trained for 10 days. He had some discomfort. He only had one training session this week, and he comes in and competes the way he does. He deserves a lot of credit. You're telling me Saliba managed to lock up Ivan Toney, score a fantastic header, and drop a masterclass, so much so that he has been included in the first FIFA 23 team of the week. All of that while not even being 100%. The standards are sensational, and it's another example of the superb centre-back that Arsenal have on their hands, and likewise France. As on international duties, after Jules Koundé got injured in the 21st minute, enter the scene William Saliba, playing 67 minutes, completing 59 passes, 68 touches, 1 out of 1 tackle won, 1 clearance, 9 ground duels, 1 ground duel won, and also winning 2 aerial duels. In my humble opinion, I believe this guy should be starting for France in the World Cup. The priority for Arsenal is to extend his Arsenal contract, which expires in 2024. And on that, according to Rudy Galletti of Calcio Mercato in Italy, Arsenal and Saliba are set to reach an agreement for a contract renewal until 2027. For the Arsenal manager Arteta, the centre-back is a key player. So days after Saliba confirmed that he's loving life in Arsenal and London, you've got another reporter claiming Saliba is close to signing a new Arsenal contract. And in terms of this season, in terms of progressive carries from centre-backs, not the only Arsenal centre-back on that list, alongside Gabriel Magalhaes, more aggressive with the ball, trying to make things happen. It's an important aspect to have in an age where so many teams like to press. Saliba and Gabriel are proven to be two of the best centre-backs in the league in terms of their ability to carry the ball out of the back. Moving on to an update from Fabrizio Romano. The mere mention of Fabrizio Romano brings up one topic straight away, and that being transfers. And the player in question today is Frankfurt's Jesper Lindström. Starting off with the reports from Germany that Arsenal have contacted the representatives of the Eintracht Frankfurt midfielder with the hopes of signing him in the January transfer window. 22 years of age, a Danish international, Lindström is able to play in many attacking positions, but as you can see from his heat map, he excels the most on the right hand side. Fabrizio Romano says that I am aware that there has been speculation of Arsenal contacting the reps of the Frankfurt star, Lindström. At the moment, I have no confirmation of any proposal or negotiations for Lindström. Many clubs have sent their scouts to monitor him, as he's considered a very good player for the present and the future, but no decision has been made by Eintracht about January. It's still too early to say. Now, Arsenal are a team that love to monitor top young players, and Lindström is certainly a very interesting prospect. Last season he had 14 goals and assists in all competitions, and when you break down his numbers, it's very clear to see his strength is straight away his dribbling, as shown in this graphic, making 5 dribbles per 90 last season, but only successful 33% of the time. While he is a high volume dribbler, the numbers are showing me a player that still is pretty raw and still has a long way to go in terms of development, and a long way off before he can make an impact at a club like Arsenal. Saying that though, Build are a reliable source, and they believe Arsenal have interest. Moving on to Mykhailo Mudryk. According to Ben Jacobs, Mudryk is hoping for a move in January and has told Jacobs he could not say no to Arsenal. Several European clubs are now tracking him, including Newcastle, Sevilla, Leverkusen and Ajax. The race for Mudryk is heating up and a lot of clubs want him, but the only team that he has mentioned so far is our club Arsenal. According to Ben Jacobs, it remains to be seen whether Arsenal will make a move in January. It's important to note, they never bid or seriously considered it in the summer. Lots of top clubs are put off by Shakhtar's €50 million plus valuation, and that will only rise as things stand. It is that price tag which seems to be the biggest stumbling block. Fabrizio Romano says that there's been no bid from Arsenal despite talks with his agent and strong interest, but no proposal made. Shakhtar remain on the same points. They want more than €50 million for Mudryk. For that sort of money, Arsenal will want a top player straight away, and Mudryk has a lot of talent and potential, but he still has room for development. In fact, in his last game for Ukraine up against Kieran Tierney, he dropped an absolute stinker. A 5.3 rating, missing one big chance, completing 0 out of 6 dribbles, and winning 1 out of 12 ground duels. You obviously don't judge a player off just one game, but those numbers there show for me a player that still has some level of inconsistencies, and not a player that I think Arsenal are going to spend €50 million on, especially in January. Fabrizio Romano also says it's pretty clear Arsenal are doing a fantastic job with young players. The academy is excellent. They are very good in the scouting system, but also in how they present their long-term project to the players and their parents. It's time that people catch on. Arsenal have a superb academy in Hale End, and Per Mertesacker is doing an amazing job. Not only do you have the likes of Smith Rowe, Saka and Nketiah in the first team, the likes of Bertino, Norton Coffey and Balogun all thriving out on loan. The youngest player in Premier League history in Ethan Nwaneri, and there's also another player called Miles Lewis Skelly. And here's a video of him in action for the Arsenal under-18s, and look at the power, look at the strength, look at the dribbling, the ball carrying ability. He's doing that while being 15 years of age and playing up against players that are 2 or 3 years older. Fabrizio Romano says it's just the beginning. Arsenal have at least 2 or 3 talents ready to shine in the next months. They will take some time and they prefer to keep the names quiet as they don't want too much expectation on these young kids. Where Arsenal are doing so well this season is they have provided a link with Per Mertesacker and Mikel Arteta. There's 2 guys here working in cohesion, and that pathway from the academy to the first team looks even more connected than ever. Moving on, let's talk Ben White. Here is his stats radar for him so far this season, and as you guys can see, we have a top fullback in the making, excelling in the pass completion rates, tackles per 90 minutes, fantastic in aerial duels, and in terms of progressive passes and final third passes, he's up there with the best. If you watch the Arsenal All or Nothing documentary, one of the key things they mention is Ben White's ability to learn. That is his biggest strength, and we are seeing it in full flow once again. He has been so good as the inverted right back that he has benched one of the best inverted fullbacks in the business, who is fit and available in Takehiro Tomiyasu. And Tomiyasu has told the Japanese media, what is required in this league is quite high, and I am not satisfied. When you look at the players selected as starters in the Premier League games, you will understand what is required to be there. I will work hard in order to get my position back. We have one almighty battle on the hands here of Ben White versus Tomiyasu, and the beauty of both of these players is they are almost Swiss Army knives and they are able to play in different positions. Let's have a debate down below in the comments, as in terms of the inverted right back, who do you guys prefer to see more, Ben White or Takehiro Tomiyasu? Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with Mr. Ivan Toney, who once again has been speaking about Arsenal. When asked on the Arsenal players copying his tweets, he says, once was funny, the second time was a bit cringy. I bit my tongue. I wanted to reply. I wanted to nibble. But fair play to them. They played very well and they are a different Arsenal side to what we have played before. So Ivan Toney wanted to reply, but he realised straight away there's no point in even trying. Arsenal are a different team to last season, and the team that they played had the likes of Leno, Chambers and Mari starting. Toney is catching on, and soon, likewise will the Premier League. We have a different Arsenal this season in terms of quality and in terms of mentality. And that was in full flow against Brentford, as here's a photo of Gabriel Jesus and Granit Xhaka giving the Arsenal squad a team talk following the celebrations of our first goal. The introduction of top players like Gabriel Jesus has given this Arsenal team an extra edge, that even after scoring, there's always something you can do better. And in terms of doing better, Arsenal are now tied for second in the Premier League with 19 big chances, not counting penalties. Last year, Arsenal were ranked mid-table in terms of big chances. This year, Arsenal were the best, and in the process has given Arsenal their best starts in over 5 years. 6 wins out of 7. I urge you guys to go and watch Arteta's bench cam for the game against Brentford, and even after all 3 of Arsenal's goals, Arteta barely breaks a smile, and that is because he understands the mission. Yes, we have made a fantastic start, but all means nothing if Arsenal can't sustain and be consistent. We lost against Man United and a lot of people started asking questions. Can Arsenal cope with the pressure of big games? These next 2 games against Spurs and Liverpool, both at the Emirates Stadium, are the prime opportunity for Arsenal to show that this is a different Arsenal team. That is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and if you have, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe if you are new. Don't forget to follow me on my social medias, and most importantly, vote for your boy for the Football Content Awards. But that was all of today's latest Arsenal news, and a boring international break is upon us. I know how hard it is, so Arsenal fans, hold tight, keep smiling and stay tuned. I will see you next time. Take care and a bit.